upon the coast which belonged to Judah, and upon the south of Caleb, and we burned Ziklag with fire. Everybody know where we're at. Burned Ziklag with fire. And David said to him, canst thou bring me down to this company? And he said, swear unto me by God that thou wilt neither kill me nor deliver me into the hands of my master, and I will bring thee down to this company. And verse 16 says, and when he had brought him down, behold, they were spread abroad upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, because of all the great spoil that they had taken out of the land of the Philistines and out of the land of Judah. And it goes on to say, and David smote them from the twilight even unto the evening of the next day, and there escaped not a man of them, save 400 young men which rode upon camels and fled. Now, David's, for you Bible scholars, you know where we're at in this scripture. David had been away, and his hometown, his headquarters, where he was set up at with his men, Ziklag, was raided. It was raided by the Amalekites. And it says it was burned with fire. And the scripture above that talks about how his wives had been taken captive, children had been taken captive, and the city was burned with fire. And don't we know that the enemy is not just after us, he's obviously after those close to us. It's interesting that the enemy would take the women and the children, it would take them captive. Didn't just kill them, it wanted to take them captive. And the reason why people did that back in those days is because they wanted to turn the women and the children to their way of living. Because if you had women, no disrespect, you could have more children. And then they could be part of their group. And the enemy wants to take the children, because if I can take the child at an early age, I can turn him to my way of thinking. And that's what the enemy wants to do. So that's why they took them captive. So when they arrived back there and the city is burned with fire, you guys know the story. The men were weeping. Everyone was upset. And that's okay, because there are times in our life where it's okay to weep for what we have lost. All of us in here, I know at times, have lost something, someone, whatever it is. And there are times when it's okay to weep. It's okay to be upset. One of the things that bothers me so much about church, Minister Marshall, and you know this to be true, is how we walk in and we seem to always have to have it together. Everyone wants to be together. Everyone wants to say, I'm blessed and highly favored. And while I may be, there are times that I wake up, I don't have it all together. There are times that I wake up and I need a hug from you. I need to talk about some things. I got some things on my mind. I got some stresses. Yeah, I got God. Yeah, I'm saved. Yeah, I'm delivered. But I can't walk around with this facade of all the time. And what we do in the church is we put that on people. You always got to come in and have it together. You always got to come in and know what you're talking about. But aren't there some days? Aren't there some days where I wake up and I just don't know what it's all about? I don't understand what's going on in my life. I need time to sort of decipher all of this stuff. I'm chopping wood with a dull axe sometimes. So I can't always walk into church or walk into these sanctuaries and pretend like I got it all together. Sometimes it's all right to weep. Sometimes it's all right to weep for what I've lost. Because we know, those of you know that David wasn't in Ziklag for a reason. He was out doing some other side deals. I'm just paraphrasing. But he wasn't where he was supposed to be. And that's okay, because sometimes we're not where we're supposed to be. Amen. And we leave ourselves vulnerable to the enemy to come back and take our stuff and burn our city. So the same with David is the same with us. So we shouldn't feel bad all the time for all the stuff that was lost, because everybody in here has lost something. And it's okay to weep for that which is lost. And it's okay to weep, because once we weep, we're cleansed, and now we can move on. Amen. But you know the story. The men were upset with him, because they had not just lost their goods, they lost their wives, they lost their children, they had lost their stuff by hanging what they perceived was to be with David. Well, we're with you, brother, until we lose something. You ever had guys do that to you? Yeah, I love you, brother, until we start to lose a little bit of something. Ask Moses about it. Got them all out there, freedom. They were free. Yeah, I'm free, until they got out into the wilderness. Well, we had onions and lentils back in Egypt. Why'd you bring us out here to die? People are always with us when things are going well. But let something go wrong and you're going to find out who your friends are, so to say. So we won't blame them too much because some of us have been the same way at times. So the men were thinking of stoning him. And then come the famous line, and David had to encourage himself in the Lord. Because there are times, brothers and sisters, that all that I got, me and the Lord. I love my wife and she loves me, that is true. But there's times only she can encourage herself in the Lord. Because I may not understand what she's going through. Sometimes we put a lot of emphasis. We think people ought to understand all the time what I'm going through. But even husbands and wives, even fathers and sons and mothers and daughters don't always understand what we're going through. So I got to encourage myself in the Lord. I got to rise my own back up sometimes. I got to get my own relationship with God going because I never know what's going to happen. Well, someone I even love might say, well, why don't you just, what do they tell Job, why don't you just curse God? His own wife, his beloved wife, we lay down next to every night. Why don't you just curse God? Well, we all may have those times. So his men were thinking about stoning him. Everyone was upset. And David then did an interesting thing. You know what it was. He called on the priest, asked the priest to bring the ephod, and he wanted to pray to the Lord because he knew in a sense he was out of pocket for a while. He was not where he was supposed to be. But how many know you can always go back to God? This is a simple message. You can always go back and ask God for what you may have messed up prior to. It's all right. God's not kicking us out of the family. You know what I mean? Because just we made a couple of mistakes. I'm proof of that. And some of you are proof of it too. That God's not kicking us out. But he went back and he asked the Lord. And he asked him an interesting question. He said, shall I, what? Pursue. Shall I pursue? And think about the question, Mr. Marshall. David had to already have the idea to pursue, to ask the question. Some of us were sitting here right now in this season, in this time, and we're asking God similar questions. Shall I pursue? Shall I go after? What am I? We already have an instinct, a gut feeling about what we're supposed to do. And we're going to God, and rightfully so. Shall I pursue? Will I overtake them? So I have to have the idea that this is the right thing to do. Never underestimate your instinct. And ask God, shall I pursue? He had to have the idea to pursue already before he even asked the question. And God said, yes, pursue. You will overtake them, and then you will recover all. But we do sometimes a disservice to ourselves, I think, as people who talk about God when we just say, oh, you will overtake them, and you will recover all. Like this recover all will just fall out of the sky sometimes. I mean, we've done people a disservice by just saying, because most men say, you will recover all. Like it's just supposed to magically appear sometime. But we do people a disservice when we do that. Because sometimes recovery takes work. Yes. Sometimes it's implied that he will recover all because he had to pursue. Now let me ask you something, my friend. I talked to this brother here, seems pretty intelligent. If someone came along and he took your car and they drove up I-20 East with your car, would you pursue them down I-20 West? Probably not. You're not going to pursue something in the opposite direction of where it's going. A lot of us have had things that have been taken from us, but we're pursuing in the wrong direction. Let me give you an example. If I have a marriage or relationship, and I don't, I'm just clarifying, where I have lost, the romance is gone out of my marriage. Well, I don't pursue the romance in another direction, right? Right. I need to pursue the romance where it's been taken in the relationship that I'm in. Isn't that right, minister? I need to pursue in the direction of where my stuff has been taken. Some of us have taken our children, some of our children's belief systems have been taken. But we need to pursue in the direction of where it was taken. People come into church all the time and try to recreate themselves into this, that, or the other person instead of dealing with the issues that they should be dealing with. Yes. But you can't become minister such and such when this area of life is all jacked up. Amen. There's a time when I've got to pursue what's been taken. I got to deal with the issues that I've got. I can't just transform myself into this new creature, you know what I mean, just because I've learned a few scriptures. But over here, I can't talk to my family. I can't talk to my wife. I can't talk to my children. And I'm settling for all of that. But walking to church on Sunday morning, trying to be this guy. I've got to pursue, but I got to pursue in the direction of where the enemy took my things and my people. God, the enemies took some of our dreams, took some of our family members, took some of the love and we have in some of our relationships. I can only pursue in that direction. I'm only going to recover it over there. I'm not going to recover it way over here. I can't even, well, I ain't going to say that. But, sisters, I will say this. And I know a major complaint about us brothers is maybe we're not as romantic as we once used to be. But can I say this? Sometimes we can't figure all that out. And maybe you need to pursue in the direction of where you lost your stuff. Am I right, brother? I mean, you ain't got to say too much. I know you're sitting right there. But pursue in our direction as well. Don't just expect us to pursue in your direction. Pursue in our direction. And there's where you will recover something. Because sometimes we don't know. Is that all right to talk about that?
Amen.
I'm just checking. I want to make sure it's all right to talk about. Because your apostle said it's not an orthodox thing. So I'm going to encourage you guys that you guys need to pursue in the direction of where the enemy took your stuff. Now, what I found very interesting about this passage, and I'm not going to be before you much longer, is that after David got the go-ahead to pursue, and then he knew he was going to overtake and then recover everything, he ran into an Egyptian that the enemy, we read it, had thrown to the side. The Egyptian had got sick, and the Amalekites threw him to the side. And what I want to say to you is, you remember that old story about the tortoise and the hare? And the hare, the rabbit, got out to this fast start. Yeah. And then what did he do? He got out to this fast start, and he got way down the line, almost near the finish line. And then he sat down and went to sleep. And this is what I'm talking about. Your enemy's sleeping on that. Some of us, our enemy has had such a fast start. He's had such a start from a long ways away. He's taken our stuff 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 25 years ago. And he's got a fast start and he's way down there. But the problem with the enemies of God is they will always then go to sleep. They will always think that they have gotten us beaten. We read in the scripture, we're going to go back at it, with that when they finally caught up to the Amalekites, it says they were spread abroad. It says they were laying out. They were partying. They were dancing. They were enjoying the spoils. And that's our enemy right there. The enemy of your soul has been partying on your stuff. But I am declaring to you that now that you know that we are going to now overtake the enemy. Because now we know where he is. In fact, the enemies of our enemy is going to lead us right to the enemy. He's going to take us right down into their camp where they've been partying, and he's going to lead us right to them. Because your enemy is sleeping on you. Your enemy has gotten cocky on you. That's why when the apostle talked about earlier how we don't have to fight every battle, God is going to take care of some of these small matters. We ain't even got to get upset about it no more. We don't even have to even engage in these type of small things anymore. God in this season is taking care of these small things. I know he got out to a fast start. I know your enemy's 10 years down the road. I know your enemy's 20 years down the road. But this is the season of overtaking. That he is sleeping on you. That your enemy is laying out partying and dancing and enjoying himself and having a good time. But just like David, you're going to creep on up there and peer over the land and find him asleep. And if we could, I want to point out one more thing.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Is this helping anyone?
Yes. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
And this was part of when I met Minister Nick last time. Part of the word God had given me for him. And I'm kind of glad I had a chance to really talk about it because it gave me a chance to look into it a little more. And I'm sorry, let me just find it. in verse 16. It says, and when he had brought him, he being the Egyptian, had brought him down, behold, they were spread abroad upon all the earth, eating and drinking and dancing, because of all the great spoil that had taken out of the land of the Philistines and out of the land of Judah. And it says, and David smote them from the twilight even unto the evening of the next day. And there escaped not a man of them, save 400 young men which rode upon camels and fled. And it goes on to say, and David recovered all that the Amalekites had carried away. And David rescued his 2 wives. And there was nothing lacking to them, neither small nor great, neither sons nor daughters, neither spoil nor anything that they had taken to them. David recovered all. I would like to declare to all of you that you will now smite from the twilight into the evening of the next day. Let me tell you, you are going to smite because your enemy is asleep. He is not even going to be able to put up a fight because you have now come and overtaken him. God is going to make sure that you smite. See, if I smite from tonight to tomorrow, that's a lot of smiting. I am beating somebody down. And God is going to make sure in this season that you are going to smite them. Your enemy is laying out. He thinks he's got you beaten. He thinks he's got you down. He thinks he's got your children. He thinks he's got your husband. He thinks he's got your family. And he's partying and dancing and doing all that stuff. But what he doesn't know is that one of his enemies is bringing you right into his camp. And you're going to walk up to him and you're going to smite him. You're going to defeat everyone that is in that camp. You're going to beat down him, all the people that's working for him. Anybody that is associated with your enemy is going down. God is going to make sure of it. God is going to make sure. Because see, it doesn't say that David fought them. It says David smote them. When you smite somebody, that's destruction. That's destroying. It's like you're wiping them out. The enemies that you see today, you will see no longer. That is a fact. That's what God is doing in this 2016. You are going to wipe them out. And y'all need to say that David got tired. David had the energy. Because see, I would have been a little upset by the time I got there. The folks that took all my stuff and they laying out here with my girl, my kids, dancing and partying. Yeah, I had some stuff built up by that time. Amen. Like some of you do. But God is going to raise your right hand. And I declare that you are going to smite your enemy. You are going to wipe them out. And anybody that's working with them, working for them, that's partying with them, dancing with them, they're going to go down too. And it's all right. And I want to encourage you guys. Don't leave anybody alive. Now, y'all know what I'm saying about that. It's not about, because see, sometimes this passage goes on to say that the men that were thinking about stoning David earlier, when they got all the spoils, they even got the spoils that they had. They got the spoils that the Amalekites had. I'm not going to read it, but it's in there. So they not only got all their stuff back, but they got all the Amalekite stuff too. You know what I mean? So that, and they said, the men declared that this spoil is now David's spoil. Yes. So it's not about bringing, I know we think about, well, bringing the enemy stuff into our camp. No, it's not about that. It's all right to claim that which you have conquered. Yes. It's all right to claim what you have conquered. What God has allowed you to conquer now belongs to you. The wealth of the wicked. The wealth of the wicked. Yes. You understand what I mean? The wealth of the wicked. It's okay to have it because we know how to use it, God willing. Because it also talks about how when they had to go back, remember they left a couple hundred men back there. You read the story. He had left a couple hundred men back near Ziklag because they couldn't make the journey. And some of us, what David did was, when he came back with all the spoil, he shared it with even the men that were left back at Ziklag. And some of his men didn't want that. They said, oh, well, we fought, we conquered, we smoked, we did all this. We should deserve all of this. But no, we get this stuff not to hold on to it, to hoard it, thank you. It's to be passed out among. If she's blessed, I'm blessed. She's blessed, you're blessed. She's blessed, you're blessed, and so forth and so on. But that's why the wealth of the wicked is going to fall into our hands, because we know what to do with it. That's why God wants to give it to us. So it's okay. We're not talking about, because people want to label it prosperity and all that. And it's not about money and all of that kind of stuff. But you need money to do some things. You need things to do some things. So it's okay to claim that which God has allowed you to conquer. If we can handle it properly, and we can. So my encouragement to you is this. In this 2016, in the weeks to follow, in the months to follow, whatever it is, God is going to fight some battles for us. That should be encouraging to somebody. All the stuff that you came in here with tonight, all the battles and the fights and the stresses, and we all got them that you're coming in here with right now. And I think I'm talking to somebody. God is going to deal with some of that. Because the enemy that took that stuff and made your life a living hell for a season is going down. He's going down. He's been sleeping and partying and enjoying your stuff and enjoying your family. But I tell you the truth tonight, you are going to smite this enemy. Even if you don't believe it, you're going to smite the enemy. Let me tell you that for one thing. Because sometimes we think, oh, I got to summon up this vast faith to go in there. God is so good, he's going to do it with you. He's going to do it for you. That's how good God is. God will pay for some tuition. God will pay for some cars. God will pay some rent. God will deal with some things. I ain't got to do everything all the time. God is going to handle some of this business for me. Even if I don't believe, because don't let anybody tell you. And I know it's impossible to please God without faith and all of that. But if we needed faith all the time, when Paul and Silas got out of jail and they showed up at the people's house and everybody was astonished, God didn't leave Paul and Silas in prison because they didn't believe he would show up. God will operate against our own disbelief at times. He will operate just to show you how good he is. And he's going to show you, I believe, in this season. He's going to show me in this season. Even with my doubts, even with my fears, even all this stuff. Don't let anybody condemn you with all that junk about you can't fear and you can't doubt and all of that. Everybody's got fears. Everybody's got doubts. Everybody's got challenges. Everybody's got stuff that they're dealing with. Don't let anybody spook you out of this stuff. God will do for you what you cannot do for yourself. Or else he would not have brought you here.
Amen.
God pulled us out. He says he knew us before we were in our mother's womb. That means we weren't even a thought in Dad's mind when he had us in mind. He will operate against our own disbelief at times to get it done, just to show how good he is. Yeah. So when you go out and smite your enemies in this season, wipe them out. Yeah. Let God give you that stuff. Amen. Let that stuff come to you. Enjoy it. Enjoy it in the right way. It's okay to succeed. Amen. Let's say it again. It's okay to succeed. I know a lot of us, myself included, we've lived a lot of years with failure, stumbling, falling, all this kind of stuff. But we've got to get out of the mindset that for some odd reason I'm cursed. It's just not going to happen for me or whatever it is. It's okay. It's okay to have. It's okay to be successful. I'm not talking about by the world, the standard of success. I'm talking about it's okay to be drama-free. Yeah. Amen. It's okay to be drama-free. Amen. It's okay to come home and it's quiet. Amen. It's okay to not fuss. It's okay to have peace. It really is okay. It's nice when the wife and I are getting along. Yes. We ain't always got to have something to conquer all the time. It's okay when it's yeah. It's okay to succeed, brothers and sisters. Let God take you where he's going to take you this season, wherever it is. But I believe in this season that you are going to see some of your enemies